Hello everybody, Chad here, and welcome back to another Cooking Simulator 5-star tutorial. In this tutorial today, I will be showing you how to get a 5-star quality on pork tenderloin in mustard sauce. This is the upgraded version of pork tenderloin with caramelized vegetables, but it is vastly different from its unupgraded version. Without further ado though, let's get into the ingredients that we will need for this recipe. To start off, we're going to need pork tenderloin, red wine, soy sauce, and sugar for the tenderloin itself. We're then going to need sour cream, mustard, nutmeg powder, and chives for the mustard sauce. And for the last part, the caramelized vegetables, we're going to need 1 beetroot and 2 carrots. And for the garnish, at the end, we will need 2 twigs of rosemary. Anyways, let's start this recipe off by doing this. We have these ingredients here, and I'm doing a new technique to make sure that this is as precise as possible, because this is a very precise recipe. But what we're going to do is we have 2 bowls here and a deep plate, which we will be using for this mixture and the mustard sauce later. But what we want to first off do is fill this first bowl with 50 milliliters of red wine. Oh, a little bit more. That's good. Oh, that, we don't want to do that, so we're going to set that to the side to not knock over the bowl by accident. And then we want to add in 30 milliliters of soy sauce. Just like that. You'll probably get a little bit on your countertop, that's fine. Then we're going to add in 10 grams of sugar. I'm going to go and put this back. And the method that we're going to do, we have these 2 bowls here. We're going to transfer the liquid between bowls until we get 20 milliliters exactly, because that is how much we need to pour on to our tenderloin. So we're going to take this bowl that has the mixture, and we're going to try to quickly... perfect. Since we got exactly 20, we can go and throw away the rest. But we got our 21 milliliters, or approximately 20 milliliters of our mixture. Gonna take our pork tenderloin and put it into our deep plate, or bowl. I always call these bowls, even though they're called deep plates in the game, because they are practically bowls. And we just want to take this and pour it on top. And once you've done that, it should have roughly this amount of mixture on it. Then we can take our baking tray, grab our tenderloin, and start cooking this, which we want to set our timer for 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Then, in the meantime, we're going to work on the mustard sauce. To do the mustard sauce, we want to take our sour cream, and we want to pour in 50 milliliters of sour cream. Or approximately. You may go a little bit over or a little bit under, and you will still be fine. After that, we want roughly 20 milliliters of mustard, and we want 8 grams of nutmeg. Then we're going to take our pot and move over to the herb shelf. We can go ahead and close the fridge. And we want to grab 6 chives, or the equivalent of 12 grams of chives. As you can see, we have 12 grams. You want to shake it around as much as possible. Make sure the chives are on the bottom. Then you want to take your timer, set it for a minute, and let it boil for that next minute. And it'll finish around the same time as the tenderloin. In the meantime, this is also something that you have to be very precise with. Whenever I did the unupgraded version of this recipe, I was not extremely precise. But with this upgrade, it will be. So instead of doing what I did before, we're going to cut the beetroot in half. We should have roughly 60-gram pieces each. Take each piece, turn it over like this. We've got roughly 30 seconds on each of those. And we are going to cut these into thirds. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Now that's done. Go over here and do this, and this is also done at the same time. So we can turn both of those off at the same time, put our knife away, and we're going to grab our pan for the vegetables. So these are all roughly 20-gram pieces. There's a little bit of discrepancies here and there, but that will be good enough, and we're just going to put this to the side for now. We also want to take our deep plate and put that mixture into the trash can, the previous mixture. And now what we're going to do, we have our tenderloin. We're just going to set this to the side here. Actually, we're going to set this in the bowl because that's where we'll need it next. Then we're going to take our pot with this mixture, and we want to pour just all of it straight in here. Got a little bit to the side, but that's fine. You can go ahead and throw away the rest of the chives that are left in the pot. And now we want another 20 milliliters. So we want to... Oop. How much do we have in here? We have 18 milliliters. We're going to try and get this as close as physically possible, so we're just going to keep going until we're as close as possible. So like, I think 22 will do. So we're going to take this bowl, roughly 20 milliliters, and we're going to do the same thing that we did with the initial mixture. And we're just going to pour this on here. Now with the rest of the mixture, you can go and throw this away like before. And if you are a clean freak, you can get a sponge and clean all this up. But we're not going to do that, and we can go and take this out of the deep plate. We no longer need the deep plate, but we'll leave it there. We're going to cut our carrots next. And instead of quartering these like we did in the last version of this recipe, we want to cut these into 5 pieces each. And don't be fooled by the fact that this is a very small looking portion down here. The size of the vegetable is not equivalent to its proportions. So we want to make 1 cut, 2 cuts, 3 cuts, and 4 cuts, roughly like this. We're going to take this. This is pretty much as close as we are going to get for the numbers on the carrots. Carrots are very difficult to cut still, because looking at it from a logical standpoint, you would think that this would weigh a lot less, but it ends up not. Well, let's go ahead and do the same thing. We want 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. And we want to take the rest of this carrot, spread it out so all of it is getting cooked whenever we put this on the stovetop. We want to set our timer for 1 minute and 20 seconds. And then we can worry about the tenderloin. Now, this is not something that I would often do, But we're actually going to just wait for this to be done really quickly. And I seem to have forgotten a plate, so we are going to grab this really quickly. We're going to come over here and grab our rosemary twigs first. Put the plate down and wait for those to finish. And then we can go ahead and wait a sec. Because what I want to do, and that is just due to the precision of this recipe, before I cut this, that is good to go over there. So what I'm waiting for is for that to finish, and then we'll cut this after I do a save. Because it is very precise. You want to get this as close as possible to 25-gram pieces on this as physically possible. And that requires a lot of cuts. Because this is 250 grams, we want to make 10 pieces of 25 grams. Now that this is done, we're going to go ahead and grab our vegetables. And that is now done. And now we are going to save here. That was a previous save that I just overrid from testing on this recipe before. And now we're going to cut our tenderloin into these pieces. So we're going to cut 9 different times. So we're going to cut once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And hopefully we should be able to... This is a 46 piece, we don't want that, we'll cut that down. Everything else though is fine. So this piece right here, this is a piece of 46. We want to cut this in half. Roughly like that, and we should be good to go. Now we're going to take all of our tenderloin. We have everything. We have applied the mustard sauce, we've got our vegetables, and we have our garnish. So now we're going to come over here to the order station and send this out. And this should be a perfect 5-star pork tenderloin in mustard sauce. And indeed it is. Now, of course, this is a guest complaint that happens for some reason. There was some bad kind technique, and that's the only realistically valid guest complaint there. But if you see these guest complaints whenever you get a perfect 5-star like this, don't worry about it, because the nutmeg powder and sour cream, you may be wondering, oh, why is that unwanted? That is just realistically a bug, because nutmeg powder and sour cream are ingredients in the mustard sauce. So don't worry about this. This is not a big hindrance and has no actual effect on your stars, because if it was, this would not be a 5-star, because look how many complaints there are from this alone. But yeah, anyways guys, I hope that this helped. That is how you get a 5-star quality on pork tenderloin in mustard sauce. I hope that this tutorial was helpful to all of you, and if it was, be sure to like the video. And if you know of anyone else that would benefit from these tutorials, be sure to share the video around with them. Anyways guys, I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.